Hello, it's Reverend Phil here. I hope that you're doing okay. Let's get ourselves comfortable. Have a little wiggle if you need to. Have a little stretch if you need to. And let's think about our breathing for a moment. In and out. In and out. I've lit a candle. Whenever we light a candle, it's a reminder to us that God is with us. Today, we're still thinking about perseverance. Can you remember what perseverance means? What does it mean to persevere? To persevere means to keep on doing something, to keep on going, even when it's difficult. Today, I'm going to tell you a story about somebody who had to persevere, who had to keep on going. Today's story is all about a boy called Jeremiah. When Jeremiah was a boy, God spoke to him. God said to Jeremiah, I have called you to be a prophet, a special messenger from God. Jeremiah replied, but I'm just a boy. I don't know what to say. I will give you the words, said God. But not everybody liked the words from God which Jeremiah spoke to the people. And as he grew older, as Jeremiah became a man, more and more people didn't like the words from God that Jeremiah spoke. And so our story begins. Down in the well, deep down in the well, deep down in the very bottom of the well, there was no water. But down in the well, deep down in the well, deep down in the very bottom of the well, there were spiders and slugs and slithering snakes and Jeremiah. What was Jeremiah doing down in the well? Deep down in the very bottom of the well. Jeremiah was waiting. That's what he was doing. He was waiting and wondering and wishing for someone to pull him out. God had whispered in Jeremiah's ear, and Jeremiah had passed on this message to the king. Change your ways, do what's right, or I will let your enemies, the Babylonians, conquer your country. The king didn't want to hear this message, and the king didn't want anybody else to hear this message either. So he had God's messenger, Jeremiah, dropped down in the well, deep down in the well, deep down in the very bottom of the well. It was dark down there, too dark for Jeremiah to see. But it wasn't too dark for God to see. God saw Jeremiah brush a spider off his face. God watched as the snake slithered closer. And then God did something. God whispered into the ear of one of the king's servants, a man called Ebed-Melech. And God told Ebed-Melech to go and fetch his dirty laundry. Down in the well, deep down in the well, deep down in the very bottom of the well, dropped Ebed Melech's laundry. And it landed right on Jeremiah's head. "Hey!" shouted Jeremiah. "What's this?" "It's my clothes," shouted Ebed Melech. "I've tied them together like a rope." So he has. "Put them round yourself," said Ebed Melech, "and I will pull you out of the well." And so, more determined than ever to pass on God's message, Jeremiah rose up from the well, right up from the bottom of the well, up to the very top of the well. I wonder what you thought about that story. How did it make you feel? I wonder what it would have been like being down the bottom of the deep, dark well. I wonder how Jeremiah felt as he waited and wondered and wished for somebody to pull him out. I wonder how Jeremiah felt when those clothes fell down onto his head, and how he felt as he got pulled out of that dark well up into the light. Even though he'd been through a horrible experience being down the bottom of the well, Jeremiah knew that he had to pass on God's messages. And he kept on passing on those messages, even if it meant that life got difficult. Jeremiah persevered. Even though the deep, dark well was very dark with slugs and spiders and snakes, it wasn't too dark for God to see. It wasn't too dark for God to see his friend Jeremiah. And God sent Ebed Melech to help Jeremiah, to help rescue Jeremiah from the well, and to encourage Jeremiah to keep on going, to keep on persevering. I wonder if any of us have ever felt like we're at the bottom of a deep, dark well. Or perhaps we know other people who feel like life is really difficult and dark and they don't know how to make things better. Perhaps we know people who feel sad, or perhaps people who feel poorly. Perhaps we know people who are missing somebody they really care about. I wonder what we can do to help them persevere. For a moment, let's just be quiet and think about that person we know who feels sad or poorly or lonely. I wonder, what could we say to them? I wonder, what might God want to say to them? I'm going to say a prayer, and you can join in with me. Dear God, sometimes life feels dark and difficult. Thank you that it is never too dark for you to see us. Teach us how to keep on going. Help us trust that you are with us. Please give us the strength to persevere. Amen. If you'd like to, why not make a card for that person you've thought of? You could write a message, draw a picture, pop it in an envelope, and give them that card with that message to encourage them to keep on persevering. Just like in our story, Ebed Melech came along and encouraged Jeremiah to keep on going. I wonder who we could encourage to keep on going, to keep on persevering this week. Take care, see you soon, and keep on going.